Okay, so hello again, class. For this recording, we're going to talk about the characteristics of authentic assessment. Okay, so we recall that the definition of authentic assessment, this is a type of assessment that allows for the creative usage of the knowledge and skills of the students in performing a real life task that is useful to their future career, to their lives, and of course to their field of study. Okay, so in this particular part, we're going to digress to the characteristics listed by Navarro and Santos. Okay, so ang first statement nila ng characteristic daw ng authentic assessment is that AA, the authentic assessment, starts with a clear and definite criteria of performance. Okay? So, ito ang ibig sabihin nun. It means po, may inaasahan pong performance yung teacher. Okay? While hindi um, sobrang specific itong inaasahan na ito, meron pa ring general range ng characteristic na kailangan makita ng teachers when we're talking about performance assessment. This is what is stated in their objective, of course. Okay? So, ano ba yung connection nito when it comes to assessment? It means na dapat po alam ng mga students kung ano yung inaasahan mo. Nakalagay doon sa criteria, nakalagay sa guidelines ng activity ng assessment kung ano yung kailangan nilang maipakita at kung ano yung hindi mo na kailangang makita. Okay? So, are you going to focus on the output na kailangan nila makita? Yung output nila, dapat ba may mga kulay ganito, ganyan? Dapat ba may mga transitions? Dapat ba may decorations? Kung sa demo nila, dapat ba nakasuot sila ng proper uniform? Dapat ba fully maked up sila? Dapat ba naka-shoes sila? Dapat ba ganito, ganyan? All of those things ay dapat nakalagay po sa iyong guidelines. Okay? So next, AA is criterion-based rather than norm reference. So it identifies the strengths and weaknesses but does not compare the students nor rank them in their level of performance. So ano pa ibig sabihin nun? When you say criterion reference, ibig sabihin naka-focus siya, naka-angkla siya sa mga criterion na naiset mo. Kaya nga tayo gumagamit ng rubrics para sa mga ganitong uri ng assessments. Ano ba yung mga pamantayan para masabi na ang isang artwork, ang isang ginawa nilang work of art is creative. Ano ba yung pamantayan para masabi mong ito ay original? Ano yung pamantayan para sabihin mo na ito ay nakaangkla sa theme na ginawa mo para sa assessment? Okay? Ano yung pamantayan mo para masabi na magaling yung demonstration ng isang bata? Note that these questions ask, what is your standard? It does not ask how good a student is in relation with the other students. Okay? So, ganun po yung ating authentic assessment. It does not compare. It uses criterion-related evidence. Okay? Sorry. Criterion-based evaluation. Next, it requires students to make their own answers to question rather than select them and requires them to use a range of higher order thinking skills. Recall natin, ano ba yung higher order thinking skills? Okay? So, yung iba sinasabi, ang higher order ay analyzing, evaluating, and creating. But nowadays, I have to argue, or we have to argue, that application is also included as a higher order thinking skill because application requires you to think. Is a formula acceptable? Is this particular procedural knowledge acceptable in the particular situation? Okay, kasama na din po kasi yun sa application. Okay, so ano po ba yung ibig sabihin nito? Kasi nga, ang authentic assessment ay isang performance task. Okay? Sa performance task, kailangan makagawa ka ng isang task, isang bagay, isang product, or isang skill, isang demonstration na kailangan maipakita. Sa demonstration, hindi lang knowledge or reasoning yung ginagamit mo. Hindi lang understanding. Diba? Pag magpa-practice teaching po kayo, Kailangan maipakita nyo sa practice teaching, sa pagde-demo na hindi lang kayo marunong. Kayo din ay marunong impart ng skills sa inyong learners. So for example naman, tapos tayo sa education, for example sa industry naman. Okay? 'Di ba? For example, kailangan niyo gumawa ng investigatory projects. Tinuruan kayo kung anong parts, tinuruan kayo kung anong hahanapin, kung paano siya simulan. However, for the next steps, kayo na yung kailangan mag-isip. Ano ba yung kailangan niyong gawin? Ano ba yung mga bago sa um, investigatory project na ito? Okay? So, pag hindi niyo po nasagot yung mga tanong na yan, of course, medyo mahirapan kayo sa authentic assessment. Okay? Or at least mababa yung score niyo sa authentic assessment na iyon. Okay? Next, authentic assessment emphasizes performance and therefore students are required to demonstrate. It does not rely on the ability to recall facts. And again, it allows students to demonstrate the skills and concepts they have learned. So this is purely um, sinasabi lang niya dito na pag authentic assessment yung ginagamit mo, higher order thinking skills yan. Kailangan ipakita ng students mo. Kaya minsan ina-associate nila yung authentic assessment, hindi na pala minsan madalas. Madalas ina-associate nila ang authentic assessment sa performance assessment. Kasi sa performance, nakikita mo talagang ina-apply yung mga skills. Nakikita mo na, ay, sinasabi niya rin yung sinabi ko. Ay, ganito pala yung nakuha niya mula sa naituro ko na concept. Okay? All of those realizations, all of those reflections of your application are actually looked at when you are doing authentic assessment. Okay? Now, AA encourages both teachers and students to determine their rate of progress in cooperatively attaining the desired student learning outcomes. So, ano pa ibig sabihin nito? Ang teacher kasi at ang student nowadays perform a collaborative effort to improve each other, but more so on the improvement of the students. Okay? Minsan, ang teacher, kailangan niyang identify kung ano mga skills yung kailangan pang um, makuha ng bata before niya ma-achieve yung final learning objective. And yung bata, madalas hindi alam yun. Kaya po tayo as teachers, we should know what steps are next in order to reach the next levels of progression. And importante po ito, class, kailangan ma-realize ng bata kung gaano kalayo na siya sa task na pinapagawa mo. Okay? Ito yung embodiment ng malayo pa, pero malayo na. Okay? Kasi po, nakaka-motivate po na makita ng bata na malayo na pala yung narating niya. Di ba? Some of you may not like the quizzes I give. Okay? That's a given. Okay? But the more you are exposed to it, the more na nararanasan ninyo, ay, ang papaquiz na naman si Sir Allen. The more you realize that the old you cannot answer this item, but the you right now are getting the skills to answer these items. Diba? So, nare-realize nyo, I am being exposed to hardship. I am being forced to think. So, I am now thinking. Okay? So, ganun din po sa authentic assessment. Pag yung bata, pangit yung performance, masama kapag hindi mo sinabi yung kahinaan niya sa performance na yan. Okay? So, yun. Demand feedback as students and as teachers, do not forget to give feedback. Okay? So next, AA does not encourage rote learning or passive taking of tests. Instead, students are required to demonstrate their skills, their creativity, their cooperative skills, and how they communicate their learning. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lang pinofocus ng authentic assessment yung final product. It also focuses on the processes na ginamit mo para abutin yung final product na iyon. Okay? Yung mga scores niyo sa quizzes class, yun na yung final product. However, if a teacher studied, mali siya sa item na to. Pansin ko, mali siya sa mga item na nagfo-focus sa topic na ito. All of those are a part of doing authentic assessment. Ganun din pag performance task na. Okay? Makikita mo na maayos yung kanyang mga application. Pero nagkakaroon siya ng problema sa communicating. Maganda tong mga performance niya. Ayos naman yung lesson plan niya. Pero sa pagtuturo, minsan nagfa-fumble siya. Minsan nai-stop yung explanation niya. Ano kaya yung may sasuggest ko para ma-improve niya ito? Okay? Ano kaya yung pumipigil sa kanya na mag-perform well on this particular part? Okay? So part din po iyon ng authentic assessment. It allows you to diagnose kung saang part ng process of learning mahina yung students. Kaya po, in-encourage natin or in-advocate natin yung tinatawag na holistic assessment. Not just knowledge, but also in their psychomotor and, importantly, their affective domain. Okay? So number 7, it changes the roles of students from passive learners or from passive test takers to becoming more active. Because authentic assessment emphasizes their skills, kung ano yung kaya nilang gawin with the fact that they have learned. Okay? So, nakikita mo din dito yung skills talaga nila. Okay? So, instead na dati na meron kang um, scores lang sa quiz. 'Di ba? Makikita mo lang, mababa siya dito, mataas siya dito, mababa siya dito, mataas siya dito. Okay? That is traditional assessment, pen and paper test. However, pag gumamit ka ng authentic assessment, makikita mo yung progress in a more concrete manner. Magaling siya dito sa process na ito, sa pag-generate ng new data, sa pag-apply ng data. Mahina siya dito sa written communication. So, ganito yung gagawin ko. Okay, next demonstration. Okay, nagba-balance out na yung kanya mga yung weaknesses niya. Medyo nagiging holistic na. Sa third one, okay, um this is a well-rounded performance. Okay, saan pa siya mahina? Baka doon pa pwedeng i-develop. Okay? So instead of snapshot na alam mo ay generally magtalino yung bata kasi mataas ang score. Pag authentic assessment, alam mo na kung saang subtopic, kung saang sub-skills mahina yung bata. And that is important. That is better because not everyone have the same type of intelligence. Yung iba magaling sa knowledge, yung iba magaling sa skills. But nonetheless, what we need to understand is that authentic assessments take apart the product in order for you to understand what are the ingredients in creating that product. What makes a good teacher? What makes a good demonstrator? Pag magaling siya magsabi ng knowledge, yes. Pag magaling siyang what do you call this? Makipag-interact sa learners, pwede rin. Okay? All of these things are shown to you if you use authentic assessment. Sa pen and paper, score lang yung makikita nyo. Nothing else. Okay? Kaya po mas maganda ang authentic assessment if the teachers know how to perform authentic assessment. Okay? So, yun lang po yung 7 characteristics of authentic assessment according to Navarro and Santos. Okay? So, that's it for this recording. I hope to see you all on the next part of the recording. Bye.